Welcome to Gracefully Graying. I'm your host, Attorney Henry Gornpine. Please watch and like our Gracefully Graying YouTube channel as well as our Gracefully Graying website. Tell all your friends about us. Today on Gracefully Graying, I am pleased to welcome back as my guest, Mindy Eisenberg, who is really a great yoga instructor and guru as we discuss some of her yoga moves projects. Mindy, welcome back.
Thank you. We had so much fun last time, Henry. I'm sure we're going to this time.
It's different though. Last time we were in a studio.
Yes, this is true.
You were actually using me as a guinea pig where I was doing, I think, some yoga stretching movements. And today we're in a different world based upon COVID. You're home and I'm home, but we're shooting and you are in your yoga room.
No, I realized that. We should have had you set up for yoga.
Okay. Well, yoga has taken up your house as well as your life. Mindy, tell us what
life. It becomes your life.
You're right. Well, it's a great way to live too. I mean, the whole mind-body experience is awesome. Tell us what motivated you to start Yoga Moves MS program.
The Yoga Moves MS program evolved pretty organically. I had finished teacher training and then was asked to volunteer for a support group in this area that's pretty big, the mind. And the support group enjoyed the one class so much, they asked if I would continue it. The group still meets. In fact, we met last night virtually.
And you were talking before we started about the fact that, I don't know if this is a group, but you were doing a gong yoga session. Why don't we digress? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so what the session was, Yoga Moves MS is a nonprofit. We provide adaptive yoga for people with neuromuscular conditions such as MS and Parkinson's. In fact, right after this session, I'm going to go teach for the Michigan Parkinson Foundation, who also embraces yoga a few times a week with their exercise and movement programs. So last night was a workshop for the purpose we've done for December as a way to give back to our community. And at the same time, because we couldn't do a big gala this year, due to COVID, we did these workshops for a purpose, and all of our instructors, not all of them, but several of them shared their unique talents related to yoga. So one did on hand and foot massage, which was quite popular, and meditation. Another did it on breathing. We even had one who did the art of storytelling, all this, how it relates back to holistic health living. So in the session last night, we started with some movement that was in the chair or on the mat, depending upon, we had people coming from all over practicing in their living rooms. It was an evening. So some people were more comfortable on the floor and some people were in the chair, and I'm sure some were even in bed. And so I showed some variation of poses. Then we did some breathing exercises, some mindfulness meditation, and then my husband, Scott, played his gong.
So it worked out well.
It worked out very well. We were really pleased. It was really kind of fun to see everybody together. It was really exciting, actually, to have everybody at least energetically in our living room.
How many participated, if you know?
No, I was so busy, I didn't get to see, but I would say, someone said between 40 and 60. So let's just say 50.
Well, that's a nice turnout.
Really nice. Really nice.
Mindy, let's go back to your MS program and tell us how the MS program and the same program I guess is used for Parkinson's and other movement disorders. How does this differ from traditional yoga?
What we do that makes it different is that we adapt poses. We're looking at it like, instead of walking into a class like mainstream does, and you're going to be presented with whatever the teacher's going to teach. We're about saying, what do our students want and what do they need now? So I might come into the class and say, how's everybody feeling? What's going on? And then based upon what I hear, whether it's injuries or stiffness or headache or fatigue, or feeling really energetic, let's get moving, based on what I'm hearing, and that's what I think a really good adaptive yoga teacher does, we modify the class based on that. So you got to be ready for whatever presents itself. And it can change. You know, about 25% into the class, you can go, oh boy, I'm really tiring them out. Or you know what? They're looking like they're a little fiery. Let's move this along. So the idea is that we're still going to get in stretching. We might use a strap like this to stretch our legs out. And we might use a block to either elevate the hips or squeeze into with our hands or our inner thighs as a way of building strength. This can also be a prop for helping to open up the hips. And then the blanket you see there, they're all part of helping the body go into and experience the pose. Not to perfection, but so that the body energetically opens up and strengthens and releases tension.
This is so important for anyone suffering from MS or other neuromuscular conditions. So you're really doing a great service with this.
Yes, and you asked me how I began. So the other is that my mom had progressive MS. So as I watched her as a child and then a teenager and a young 20-something, her body became more and more contracted. So what motivates me is to help people who have a neuromuscular condition be more comfortable in their body. Now, the truth is, we don't even have to have a neuromuscular condition. Many people, we say in yoga, aren't even necessarily in their body. We're very often in our head, especially as Americans. We live up here rather than grounding down there, which explains some of the anxiety that is so prevalent in our population.
Yeah, I'm curious. Are the courses the same whether you're dealing with MS or Parkinson's or essential tremors or some of the other neuromuscular conditions?
Yeah, that's a great question. In general, the answer is yes. However, there's this point where, for instance, someone with Parkinson's might have more energy, and then when they start going, they want to keep moving. And I'm really generalizing because my belief is that everyone with a particular condition cannot be labeled or identified as such. But in general, once a person with Parkinson's, they're kind of frozen and then they start moving and they want to keep moving. So they often enjoy more of a repetitive or more of a power kind of moves. That's where, you know, some of the Parkinson's programs are called power moves or the boxing, rock steady boxing. So we've kind of integrated some of that movement in where, you know, we might do some movements that are yogic, but maybe increase the speed. Someone with MS, depending upon where they are in their condition, and like I said, this is so generalized because some people with MS, you can't even tell they have it. Let's say they have vertigo or some type of dizziness. They're not going to want to move so fast.
Sure.
So we might do the same kind of modified sun salute where you take your arms up overhead and you fold. We might go real slow, or we might press down and rise up faster. And so that might be one technique. There's other techniques that we bring in, such as someone with Parkinson's, the tendency is for the movements to become smaller. And so we're emphasizing big and wide. So it might not even be the pose that's different as much as it is the languaging. I'll show you what I mean. Like, so here's warrior pose in the chair. And the tendency might be to be a little bit maybe shrunk in and curling over head forward, which is also really common for people aging, right? As we age, the weight of this head pulls forward, the shoulders pull forward, and we're trying to challenge this with this gravity, at least stay upright as much as possible. So it might be something like lift tall through your spine and open up your arms wide. That would be the languaging. With someone with MS, if I talk like that all the time, they're going to be like, halt, halt, you know, let me go, let me move a little bit slower into this pose. And we might say, you know, float your arms up. We might keep one arm down depending upon what's going on with the shoulders. So there's different ways to energize it, but I really don't want to divide it by condition. I think you really have to say, okay, who's in the room now? Who's practicing with you now? And what are they presenting? And that's one of the reads that we get as an adaptive yoga instructor. What's the energy in here right now? How are people feeling? Let's uplift them in whichever way is best for them. And that might mean a more restorative practice. My experience is when I'm teaching a big group like the Michigan Parkinson Foundation, we're getting easily 50 or not more at a time on signing on to the class. And they're really energetic. I've never had them say, oh, let's do a restorative class. Almost never. But if it's really hot out, people with who have a condition such as MS in the summer, the heat can really get to them. So we're not going to be able to push them in the same way. And, you know, as I say this, there's studies coming out all the time that give us different ideas about how to approach. Years ago, and I still believe this pretty much, we were told not to push people past their edge or to just get them right before the edge, meaning if they're starting to feel fatigued, they need to bring their arms down. If I'm sitting here talking and I haven't said take your arms down, you know, they need to learn as part of their practice when they need to take them down so they're not taking all their stress into their shoulders and looking like this, because that works against them. Now there was one study that came out that said push them to their edge, let them go a little bit longer to the point of fatigue, then rest, and then push again. So we've been playing with that a little bit, but there's definitely some pushback.
Mindy, let's talk about your programs. And first of all, how many locations are you doing your various yoga for MS and Parkinson's at?
So we have 6 different locations right now in southeastern Michigan. Actually, those are on hold. And all our classes are virtual. What's been interesting about COVID is now we're attracting people from all over the country and outside the country. We're certainly getting people from Canada, and we have a regular coming from Berlin. She does her work, and then our noon class fits perfectly. After she finishes her work, she comes and does her yoga, and then she has her dinner. So the timing works out very well for her.
You know, that's interesting because the last time you and I did the show, we were in the studio. On the studio, you're limited basically. I mean, you can do more. I mean, I was able to do some of the poses with you, but with Zoom, literally you can reach anyone in the world. So COVID, I mean, it's been horrible, but it's also opened up a lot of new avenues so that you're able to expand what you're doing beyond probably what you had ever thought of before.
Absolutely. I had people tell me you really should start going virtual, and I was pushing back on it because I do feel with adaptive yoga, which is another difference, is that the instructors are there first and foremost to make sure that the students feel safe. So we have to learn how to do that virtually. And then the other one is sometimes if someone is challenged to lift their leg up, or let's say put the tie around their foot, we would help. We would help so that they could experience the stretch. But so now we're having to find different ways to get at that. And it can mean making sure they have certain props available. And it could mean having a yoga buddy or a care partner nearby to help as well.
How many instructors do you have?
We have about 10 unbelievable instructors. I can't brag about them enough. Because, you know, I feel that everyone always tells me I'm the leader of this community or the face of the community. I honestly we would not be where we're at without them. We all come with different training, meaning we've gone to different schools, and then we all tend to gravitate towards different specialties. I have mentored all of them so that I know that our students are safe. So you can't teach for Yoga Moves MS without being mentored, and we make sure through some testing or demonstrating that they're ready. And that's a whole process of starting from taking the training to assisting with help, to assisting alone, to teaching by themselves or teaching segments of a class. So it's real incremental. And some of the teachers do it really fast and others need a little bit more time to get acclimated, because we are dealing with a population that is experiencing more challenges, and we want to make sure that they feel really secure.
Mindy, you wrote a book, Adaptive Yoga Moves Anybody. Show us and tell us about it. Show and tell now.
Show and tell. So this is the book. It's heavy. You can use it for a weight. It's 400 pages. It's a lot of photos and simple instructions. It can be intimidating at first, but really all the poses are in alpha order, and simple languaging gives you the benefits and any contraindications. Of course, we always say, ask your doctor, ask your therapist before you embark on a practice. That's really critical. If there's anything you should watch out for. And then in the back of the book, what makes it kind of different are these sequences. You can see their little pictures here. And
Yep.
A lot of people say, well, what am I going to do at home? How do I do a class or how do I put myself through a sequence? How would I do that? So we made these suggestions for which pose to do first, second, third, fourth sequentially. And then we reference page numbers if they want to find an adaptation to perhaps the picture on the sequence isn't exactly what they were thinking, or that's right for their body at this moment. At the same time, we made videos to match the sequences. So they can watch the sequence and then start and stop it if they want to get more information about a pose, and then look it up easily in the book. So that works together, and it's really nice. And I'm really proud because this book is now being used academically. University of Maryland, which has a very reputable, one of the first master's programs for yoga therapy, one of the professors is using the book as required reading. And
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Where's the book available, Mindy?
The book is available on my website, yogamovesms.org, and it's also available on Amazon. And it's available electronically for people outside of the country. It can be a little bit cost prohibitive to mail these things, unfortunately.
Next, tell us about another project you have, which are yoga cards.
Yes, these are our recent baby. And, you know, I should say that in the book and with the cards, our students are on these cards, which makes them more real. And, you know, I was like, get me out of this. Let's put in the students. And the students suggested both the book and the cards. I think the book turned into something a little bit more than they were originally intending. The cards, we kind of went a little bit backwards and let's say they don't want, such a big book, or they like, this just helps them design a practice quickly. Maybe they don't remember the name of a pose. They can look on these cards and remember perhaps different alignment principles. And then on the front, we show it one way, and on the back are different variations. And they're divided by the blue are standing, and the yellow, they're color coded, are for in the chair. And then the green ones are for on the mat. So we call it on your seat, on your feet, and on the mat, because, some people are not ready to go on the mat yet. So we want to make it comfortable for everyone. And then, of course, you can do some yoga in bed. And it comes with this little manual, and that goes over different breathing and how to set everything up. And again, there's sequences in the back of this, and it could be used, the sequences can also be used that we designed for the book with the cards. So it's a little package, but there are people who like pull out a few cards and say, okay, I'm going to do these 3 poses today. And, they're either thinking of it purposely, this is what I want to do, or they're just randomly pulling them out. But this way they look at it, and they're made with rounded corners and easy to handle. We did everything so vision, we know vision changes as we get older. And so they're done in a nice big print. And they're really not just for people with MS or Parkinson's. I would say for any senior or anyone with a challenge, a physical challenge.
So it's really aimed for most of us, especially as we're gracefully graying and getting older.
Yes, yoga helps people to age with grace because we want to keep moving.
And these are available on your site as well?
They are. They're available on our site and at Amazon. And Barnes and Noble has it as well.
Mindy, you've also produced some videos. Tell us about your videos.
Well, the videos match the sequences in the book and in the cards. So those go together. It's all a package. And there's 11 of them. We're also putting some videos that'll be on demand, because that's how yoga is starting to go, as COVID has had a huge impact on being able to access videos virtually. So we're putting together a collection now that'll be available through the website, which is a nice way to go. So you can find them no matter where you look.
Are there other programs that you're involved in beyond this? I mean, you're pretty busy with all of this. Is there anything else?
Another thing that we've done, and it's been really popular, is the holistic health and wellness event. And the first year it was in person in Southfield, and we basically filled the room. We sold out, even though it was a suggested donation to attend. We had national speakers as well as local specialists, and did topics that were more holistic in nature. And the welcoming from the community was overwhelming. I was shocked that we don't offer this already. And in fact, one of the sponsors flew up one of their managers to observe and kind of take notes, because they thought we were onto something new and different. This year, we had it all planned out to be in Detroit at Greater Grace Temple, and then we switched it to be virtual. So we had 260 people our first year. The second year virtually, and we were able to bring in national speakers from like Cleveland Clinic and the East Coast. We had 450 registrants. So we were reaching people, we were blown away. We were reaching people in Dubai, Portugal, Europe, Canada, Australia, It was incredible. And it really amazes me that given where we're at in healthcare, that we don't have more of a holistic focus. So we talked about things such as diets and different types of movement and some newer studies that are coming out. And mindfulness was brought in. I shouldn't forget that. And she's an expert from Ohio in mindfulness for people who are seniors, MS and Parkinson's, believe it or not. I was like, whoa, this exists. And it was really amazing to hear her after studying so much and to know that she is demonstrating the benefits of these practices. It was really exciting to have them on. And people loved the different exercises for how to deal with anxiety, because of course we're all in a very anxious producing time right now. So breathing becomes so important, and being able to still the mind or be with your mind. I shouldn't even use the word still the mind, because people think that means stopping your thoughts. It's more being with your thoughts, and then they kind of settle down a bit. So it was very exciting. The Holistic Health event this year, well, coming in 2021 will be our third year. We're thinking maybe it might be a combo of live and virtual. And we'll be picking out exciting topics. Believe it or not, a topic like urological concerns, incontinence, things that people don't necessarily want to talk about, we brought out into the open, and people welcomed it. They absolutely loved the presentation.
It's amazing what you're doing. And Mindy, we've got about a minute left, believe it or not. What are some, I don't know if there's time to demonstrate any.
Time goes so fast, Henry. I'm going to just say that breathing is the most important. And I want to leave you with these thoughts. Most of our community, most of our population are mouth breathers. I'm on a crusade. This is my latest. A crusade to change the way we breathe to nostril breathing. It has been demonstrated over and over again through studies that we need to convert to nose breathing and diaphragmatic breathing. So breathing from here rather than from here. This is causing anxiety, depression. I mean, it's not the only thing, right? Sleep apnea is huge. Different conditions like diabetes, COPD, asthma are all worsened by mouth breathing. So come and join me, learn how to breathe. This is a whole, relearn how to breathe. We're born and we know how to breathe, and then somehow it all goes amok.
It's amazing. Mindy, we're out of time. We're going to have you back again. What you're doing is really wonderful, and I applaud you. I want to thank you so much for being our guest on Gracefully Graying today. I want to thank our viewers for watching Gracefully Graying. And again, please, when this video is online, go to our YouTube channel to see it. Visit all our other videos, as well as our Gracefully Graying site, which is adding content every day. Mindy, thank you so much.
Namaste, Henry. Namaste.
Namaste, Mindy.